The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Let's get the state of the New York Jets from someone who knows the team as well as anyone. Will Parkinson will join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Football Friday. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Football Friday, Giveaway Friday, daily raffle prize, signed C.J. Mosley jersey at the end of the show. The second signed C.J. jersey that we've given out since C.J., of course, announced his retirement yesterday after an 11-year career in the NFL. Let's check in right now with someone who covers the New York Jets, a frequent guest on our show, and he was nice enough to squeeze in 20 minutes when I got a text from our guy, Nick Faria, that he's sick. He's under the weather. He couldn't make his weekly appearance. So we go to the bullpen and we bring on Will Parkinson. Will, always appreciate your time, my man. Thanks for pinch hitting here.
Yeah, I had to bring in the hefty lefty, you know?
I appreciate you hopping on. And, you know, it's a good time to get you on because you're very plugged in with some of the behind-the-scenes stuff going on with this Jets team. And we'll talk about Sauce and Garrett in just a bit. But with CJ retiring, your thoughts on him, his legacy as a Jet, and then obviously this linebacker room now going forward without him.
Yeah, look, I think when CJ got hurt last year, I remember talking and asking people around the team, like, I don't know, middle to end of the season, like that November time frame, they're like, I think that's probably it. And I was like, damn, man, like that really sucks. Having trouble even like getting a helmet on, you know, without pain and stuff like that. So, you feel for CJ a lot. I just think I was actually just talking to somebody about this. CJ is one of those awesome players that because of the era of Jets football he played in, and he's not a homegrown guy, even though he became a Jet, I'd argue he's more of a Jet than even a Raven at this point. It just feels like he's going to be a guy that everyone has a good memories of, likes a lot, respects how good they were, but he's not going to be like part of a beloved team. So I'm always curious how he's going to be remembered, you know, by the fan base. I kind of think to myself of like, is he like, where does he, I was trying to think of a Yankees comp for him or even a Knicks or a Nets comp or something that could kind of, you know, I'm trying to think it's hard to pinpoint, you know, you look back at like some of the great linebackers the Jets have had, which they've had a ton. Most of them have had deep playoff runs. You know, obviously, even just the David Harris's and Bart Scott's of the world. Obviously, there's title teams, you know, title game teams. You look back in the late 90s, early 2000s to Mo Lewis's and, you know, Marvin Jones and those guys who are also amazing. Like they bridged the gap between them. And, you know, those guys were in AFC championship games, division winning teams, et cetera. I just wonder how CJ will be remembered, you know, by the fan base. Again, I think the fact that Jake, he got that 5-year deal, ended up outliving the deal is honestly really impressive. Like, we just don't see guys play like massive free agent deals. We never even see the end. And I just feel bad for CJ in the aspect of like, it felt like 2022, even 23 and 24, CJ was going to get a real shot at making a deep run, you know, in the playoffs and ended up not obviously being the case.
You know, it's interesting. This guy was a homegrown Jet, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of Bilal Powell's career. Now, Bilal played longer with the Jets than CJ did, but Bilal joined the Jets the year after the second AFC championship game. Obviously never got to go to the playoffs, came close in 2015. We know what happens. It happened in Buffalo. That's the only thing I could think of, but that was a homegrown Jet. Mosley being a free agent that was here as long as he was and experiencing no winning outside of like, hey, they were 6-3 in 2022 before they collapsed.
Yeah,
like,
I genuinely think of like, maybe in the comments, if you guys can think of somebody. I was trying to look back into like some even those Yankee teams and maybe like 2012 to 2017 range, and I can't find a guy. Is it Dylan Betances? He's a homegrown guy. You know what I mean? It's like the fan base. I don't know. It's a really weird one because he played here long enough. I think he's be considered a Jet. He was good enough. He was an All-Pro and a Pro Bowl level player, but the team just stunk. So, but again, I have a vivid memory, Jake, of 2021, I believe. They're playing New Orleans at home, and it's the worst. I think it's my least favorite Jets game in the last 20 years. Like they weren't even competitive. It was like game didn't matter. It was when Zach came back from the knee. CJ was like the only guy who felt like trying. I mean, obviously not actually, but like he felt like he was the only guy flying around 100 miles an hour, and he was the only guy who didn't have to be doing that. When he took the girl, had the Patriots hat on. I don't know if you remember that at the Pro Bowl. She's like, sign my hat. And he was like, he just tossed the hat. That was I always respect CJ for wanting to bring that Patriots-Jets rivalry back a little bit.
Hit the like button if you just tuned in. We're talking with Will Parkinson. Real quick, for those of you who tuned in late, giveaway, end of the show, gift memberships to be entered in a signed CJ Mosley Jets giveaway. And we will add you to our weekly raffle, which is going to be on Monday of this week. The first person to get 5 memberships or more, we will double it to get us rolling here on a giveaway Friday. Will, as far as the current Jets, the linebackers, Jamie Sherwood, Quincy Williams, I think it's fair to say they wouldn't be the players they currently are without CJ Mosley. So Mosley's legacy will still certainly be felt going forward. Your thoughts on those two guys? Do we get the Quincy of 2023 here in 2025? And obviously Sherwood was a priority re-signed by this regime that didn't draft him, so they clearly think the world of him to pay a guy that they didn't have to. Your thoughts on the 2 top linebackers now for this Jets team? Yeah,
I think the top end talent in this room is really good. I worry a little bit of like if one of these guys gets hurt for 3 or 4 weeks, like, not great. Not great behind them. Again, it's just younger guys you don't know much about, or haven't really seen much of, frankly. Look, I think Quincy has a lot of reasons to thank CJ. I think Quincy's always been a guy who's super athletic, but he was kind of pointing him in the right direction and figuring out, different ways to, guess the right gap, but not just guess, actually be in the right gap and be able to kind of read defenses and read offenses and do these different things. They have a lot to, I don't think Sherwood or Quincy are anywhere near where they are right now. It's not for CJ. And, one thing I'm not going to give, I don't want to talk too much about the Saleh era, but like, if you go back, no one changed Saleh's defense. Like, that's always a thing. Like, the call's the call, man. Like, this is what we're going to run. And the CJ was allowed to change calls, especially when they were humming at the end of 21 a little bit, and they started to get going, and then into 22 and 23. And even at points, I guess, last year early on. But like, yeah, those guys are, it's a really good room in terms of both could be Pro Bowl level players. I expect Quincy to be better. I think he was in the locker room, just again, we've talked about so many times, was toxic last year. I felt like at points, and Quincy plays an extremely violent game, brand of football, and it just was a bit of a mess. As we know, he had some back stuff too during the year where he was a lot more banged up, similar to Brees and other guys, a lot more banged up than I think. Quincy wasn't going to miss time, but like he probably could have. I think you'll get a healthy Quincy Williams, and again, he's in a contract year. Like, he's going to be flying around being an absolute animal. And honestly, if he plays really well and the Jets extend him, great. If he plays really well and the Jets end up with a 3rd round compensation pick and Quincy ends up walking, you figure it out. But all things considered, as long as he has a good year, it doesn't matter too much.
Your thoughts on both Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson's contracts? You've said for a while you believe something will get done before the season. I think you even said you think there's a chance it gets done before training camp even gets underway. So your thoughts on the latest with Garrett and Sauce?
Yeah, I don't think anything's really changed there. I think it happens this summer. And Garrett obviously is a little bit more difficult because it's where do you slot him in? Is he a $30.1 million a year guy? Is he $33 million? It'd be very advantageous to the Jets to get ahead of another receiver. And like Terry McLaurin, signed 3 for $69 a few years ago. He's holding out. He just bit the bullet on $100K in minicamp fines. Garrett's probably in the same tier as Terry. Realistically, Terry's now 30 years old, right? It's a different type of contract. But the point being, it doesn't really matter because Garrett's agent's going to go, well, Terry just got 32, so I want 32.1. We've seen T get done. If you're the Jets, Jake, I mean, Joe's talked about this a little bit on our feed a little bit. I've talked about it. How nice would it be going into camp? Been very quiet. There's been a lot of drama. You go into camp day one, right? Media's all there. Hey, Garrett and Sauce unveiled. There's like, hey, these are the two future faces of the franchise. We hope these guys' numbers are retired in down the line one day in 15 years, and they're both on 5-year extensions or 4-year extensions. Like, that'd feel pretty nice. I think for the fan base to get you kind of juiced up with like football's back. We don't have to worry about extension talk going into the year. Like, our franchise, we finally have this franchise receiver. It's not going to be a Keyshawn situation where we end up trading him. And I know the trade worked out for the Jets, but like, Keyshawn was supposed to be the forever Jet that was going to be that guy. And, Kotri ends up walking out of the door, down the line. And like, you kind of go through the names. Corbett, obviously the concussions, and it's a different type of situation, but it would just feel really nice to be like, not have to worry about Garrett. And not that you worry about him, but hey, I don't know. There is a scenario where the Jets are not very good. If you didn't get the extension, Garrett's like, hey man, like, what are we doing here? So I think getting that done, and again, from a Sauce perspective, Christian Gonzalez is up this next, in 12 months. There's a bunch of other corners that are going to be coming up here. And why wait? Like, what are you waiting on? Because, everyone, for the people that don't want to sign Sauce, who are you replacing him with? He's a top 3 corner in the league. What are you going to go draft another one? I don't really understand that concept. So for me, both guys, I think will get done. I think before there's a really nice window here between now and, really the next 4.5 weeks to get some, they've already been talking. This isn't like a new thing. So I think some form of a joint presser, if you do one without the other two, Jake, what's that look like for those guys? Does that rub someone the wrong way and then make discussions even harder? Plus, the last thing here is like, in the past, I think Woody's been hesitant potentially to spend big money on these high guaranteed deals because it's a lot of cash, right? Garrett and Sauce sell jerseys. Garrett and Sauce put people in the seats. And I do think in some ways, like, that makes this decision a lot easier.
Can I tell you a real quick antidote on that? I just got back from Fanatics Fest, and of the Jet jerseys I saw from current players, the only ones you saw were Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. That's it.
Yeah,
there was not any other jersey by a current Jet player that I saw at Fanatics Fest, and I was just around thousands of sports fans in a convention center.
Yeah, like to me, Garrett's chilling in Italy right now. So I think Sauce at Fanatics Fest, right? Or he's going to be going one of the days.
I think he's there either tomorrow or Sunday. Brees is going too.
Yeah, but just my point being, like, I think it's a nice thing for the fan base to say, here's like our core group. I've said this a million times. I've said it on your show for sure. Here's our core group. Like, we feel like we have the coach. We're going to try to get this core group to get as much out of this core group as we can, and we can start to add ancillary pieces over the next 12 to 24 months. But I don't know, man, like, you get Sauce done and Garrett doesn't get done. What's Garrett thinking? You get Garrett done and not Sauce. Sauce is like, dude, I've been pretty outspoken. I want to get extended. It just feel like it's easy. Get them both done. And then you can in season evaluate the John Simpsons, the AVTs. I'm missing somebody else here. That's a big one. I'm blanking out of my head. Oh my God. Yeah, whatever. Simpson and AVT will take as the two other ones that really kind of come to mind. Jermaine, those guys, like, let's see how those guys fare. But these Sauce and Garrett feel like pretty big layups, and they've been very vocal, Jake. They want to be here. That's a good thing. Most guys don't want to be here. I think you should try to pay these guys.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Appreciate Will Parkinson joining us here. Uno Jets with a super chat. Let's go, Jets. Uno, you're in the signed CJ Mosley jersey raffle at the end of the show for 2 with this. Also, huge shout out to Mike Perez, who says, Jake, your show this morning had me in tears. Shout out to Japan Airlines and the real people of Japan. If you know, you know. Mike, appreciate you tuning in this morning. And thank you to everyone who tunes in each and every day. It was a wild first show. Joe Caparoso was my big name guest on the first show, Will. Joe Caparoso, baby. A little J Cap.
There we go. Big boss man.
No doubt. All right. Well, I have something I want to play for you because I don't want anyone to accuse us taking anything out of context. So it's a little long, but I think it's worth it. I don't know if you've heard the full thing. This was Alan Hahn last week on ESPN New York reacting to some sound of Aaron Glenn's press conference. I want your take. Is this fair criticism, or do you think it's unfair
I know
criticism?
Exactly where you're going to go with this. I heard this and I sent it to somebody, and I was pretty no, play the clip and then I'll react to it.
Here we go.
Aaron Glenn asked about minicamp attendance.
Is everyone here on the roster?
You tell me.
I mean, it looked like everyone was here.
There you go.
Okay. On the culture.
Culture is all about people. So you bring the right people in the building, that determines what kind of culture you're going to have. Now, listen, I give the guys before this regime, before we got here, credit because listen, we don't have any just bad guys. I think we have a bunch of good guys on this team. So I give those guys a lot of credit for the guys they have here. So now our job is to make sure we steer them in the right direction, the way that we want to play football, the way that we want to operate, the way that we want this building to be. And to me, that's what culture is. Man.
I just want to say this.
Go ahead.
I want Aaron Glenn to be the best coach they've had since Will Parcells. Okay, that's what I want.
That's a nice thought.
That's what I want. And his connection to Bill Parcells makes me believe he should be successful. And I loved him as a Jet. So all these things are now separate from what I'm about to say. He needs to drop the act now. Please don't address the media as if they're players. Don't do this. Don't go to the podium. And I know that's probably how he sounds when he talks to the players. This is how he's very direct. Right. And that's exactly how you should talk to your players. Don't do this with media. When you're asked a question like, are all the players here today? Are all the players on the field? Don't ask me what I think or what I saw. I'm asking you for a reason, not because I'm a moron and I can't count. I need you to say it. Like, he needs media training. Aaron Glenn needs media training right now because this can go the wrong way fast. Wow. This is all fun in games. This is great in preseason. This is great in training camp. But when we get to the season and your team loses a game or two, this act gets tired fast. And you're not going to like the questions you're going to get. So he needs to understand that when you go to the podium, the simplest thing you do is just answer the question and keep it moving. Don't play this game of like, now you're my players and I'm going to tell you how. No. I'm asking you for a reason. I don't need you to start lecturing me and treating me like I'm one of your minions. I'm not. I'm a guy writing a story or covering your team with information that I need from you. And a lot of times it's your voice I need because I know who's here. But I need you to say it because it's more important when the head coach addresses it. So please stop talking that way at the podium. Thank you.
Your thoughts, Will?
Oh, man. The more I've heard that like 4 times, and each time it makes me more irritated. There was a lot of other things that were said right after that. I believe your colleague Peter Rosenberg said he would bet his entire savings account that Aaron Glenn is the next Adam Gase. Based on that press conference or something to that extent. I don't want to misquote him. I like Allen a lot, and I think he's probably just maybe slightly emotional in that answer. Glenn has been the same guy everywhere he's been. He comes from the same regime, same mentorship of guys that all do the same thing. Sean Payton's kind of a dick when he's talking to the media. He's either really nice or kind of a dick. Bill Parcells was kind of a dick. Bill Belichick, also kind of a dick. Like, these are the guys that he came up underneath in terms of learning coaching and playing for and doing these different things. Dan Campbell, at points, can kind of be a dick. Guess what? Robert Saleh is the nicest guy in the world, was an atrocious head coach. It's not an act because he hasn't varied from what he's been doing the whole time. Not for nothing. And me and you both have a great relationship with Rich. I don't know what goes on with Glenn and Rich. I have no idea. I'm not. It's usually the same person that a lot of these answers are targeted at. So, like, this happens. Guys have beef with each other, or they ask certain questions, and coaches react a certain way to the same reporters. We see with the Yankees. We see with the Knicks.
You know what happened after that exchange, though? Apparently, I was told, someone reached out to me that was in the room. Glenn patted Rich on the back, goes, I'm just messing with you after that presser.
Right. And they go back 30 plus years. So maybe this is.
They know each other. Yeah. Rich covered him as a player. Exactly.
Yeah. And Rich, it's probably a lot of give and take. And Rich knows he can get under AG's skin, and AG can get under Rich's skin, and the whole 9 yards. So, like, to me, like, nothing about Glenn has come off as disingenuous, fake. needing media training. He's an intense dude, and the Jets have made it very clear we're not a circus anymore. That's been their whole thing. That's been the whole offseason, Jake. You know it. I know it. It's all been about we're not going to be the front page team. We're going to be the team that shows it on the field and all these different things. And that stuff's, cute and great. And if they're not successful, it doesn't matter. But the whole thing is like, we're not going to give you a quote. And like, I'm not going to answer stupid questions. Glenn's made it really clear, Jake. If you ask him about a real football question, he'll answer it. If you ask him like a bookkeeping question, I'll call it, he's just not going to give you an answer you want. Hey, talk to me about Aaron Rodgers. Guess what, dude? You're not getting the answer. The media has to answer it. Ask it, and Glenn has to answer it. But he's been pretty clear who he is, and I actually think Glenn's been extremely genuine. And to me, I felt like that take. I was pretty surprised listening to that. When I was listening to that in real time, I expected that from one of the three people on that show. I did not expect it from the other two to be as down on Glenn as they are.
I know you got to run, Will, so we'll end with this. Overall, evaluate where the Jets are going into training camp. Are you more confident, less confident about the team than you were before or after they hired Glenn? Just general state of the franchise, final thoughts here on where the Jets are at.
I feel fine. I feel solid. I think I feel slightly better than I felt in February. When were we together? Probably February.
With the Combine.
Yeah, the Combine was probably February. So I feel a little better than then because I think they drafted pretty well. I think, would I have loved a couple of extra moves? Would I have loved one more receiver? Would I have loved one more defensive tackle, maybe one more linebacker? Yeah, I probably would have. But I also think they've really addressed the offensive line. I think we're going to get Garrett and Sauce extensions. I think they've done a good job of quieting the outside noise. I think they've done a good job of, adding some different pieces to this defense that can be a really good group. Again, do I love everything they've done? No. I think they've had some turnover in the front office. I think most of the senior people that have been around for probably far too long, not everybody, but a lot of those people are now, have changed over. We have a lot of young blood in the building. Again, who knows if it'll work, Jake, but I don't know. I feel like they're going to be a team that's going to be pretty fun to watch on Sundays. I think they're going to be easy to root for. And I think they hopefully are going to have an identity of kind of this smash mouth, very tough. I know it sounds cheesy, but I feel like everyone loved the Knicks last year more than they loved the Knicks this year because it was this kind of gritty, tough nosed, hardworking, kind of a lot of homegrown guys and these different, this group of players that's really easy to root for. I'm not saying they're going to be the 2023 Knicks or 24 Knicks. I'm not saying that. But what's
the equivalent of 51 wins for the NFL 2025 Jets?
Jets winning 11 games and beating the Jets are a team that I hope they go 9-8 or better, and they're a playoff team. I'm not going to hide that. I've been saying 9-8 for 4 months, but if you told me they were 7-10 or 8-9, but there was legit tangible progress where you're like, dude, they were a better coach team most weeks, and the quarterbacks would held them back or all these different things. So I don't feel bad about where they're at. I still think there's one or two moves potentially to be made. Maybe a defensive tackle would be nice. I don't think you'll add a receiver unless Lazard is moved. There's just too many bodies, frankly, in that room. But, hey, maybe a defensive tackle. Maybe it's just a veteran third linebacker. And you're like, ooh, a couple extra pieces here. Like the depth a little bit better. And can we get a healthy Brees season? Can we get, can you get Michael Carter healthy for the year? These little things that can make them at least an exciting team. And, again, you get Rodgers week one who – by all accounts, I guess doesn't actually have a wife. I'm not really sure what's going on with that.
That's a weird one. I haven't been plugged into Rodgers' world because we're not in it anymore, but they're saying his wife is not real. That's what's happening with Rodgers.
Maybe he's not married to a chick. There's a lot of different things there.
We have a Manti Te'o situation going on here.
I saw that tweet. That was pretty funny. It was like Manti Te'o's about to have a crazy revenge arc. I don't know what's going on there. I guess someone follows him on his walk every day, which is really weird and shouldn't be happening, and they've never seen her. I saw someone comment that she must go to a different school. So I'm very happy to be out of that world. I got to be honest.
I just want to win games, man. And I think, and real quick, because I know you got to go, winning week one, while it's one game, I think it means more than that. Getting off to a good start. Rex beat Bill Belichick and Brady his second ever game. That mattered. That carried a lot of weight. They started 3-0.
First impression, man.
We talked about this at the combine. This regime, I think, really needs to get off to a good start. You got to get the buyback in from a lot of this fan base that either is just checked out or just has no faith that it's going to be any different, even with the new regime here to hopefully change things.
Yeah, I think people are really just looking for, like, give me something. I think people are so burned by the last couple of years where it was like so much excitement and so much hype in May and June and July. I think people will start to get progressively. It'll be like this, the way the build-up's supposed to be, Jake, in a lot of ways. I think, for me and you who do content 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, it's like a little tough in this time of year because people aren't quite as excited as they were a year ago. But I actually think transparently, like, the build-up from when camp starts and you start to see, start to get the feeling back a little bit. And they're like probably gonna be the youngest roster in the league. And it's not even like they're all homegrown guys. They're like just a young, really young team. Start to build and get some Giants, Jets camp practice, inter-squad scrimmages, some fights there, and hopefully someone, in the Jets punches Kayvon Thibodeau, and there's a big, we'll get a big brawl there, and it'll just be this exciting summer potentially where, again, can you start it with the Garrett and Sauce extensions and build your way up into week 1 where no one's talking about the Jets and like that little bit of underdog kind of mentality comes back where the Jets honestly thrive. We saw it in 22. So yeah, I'm probably more excited than I should be for a team that is projected to have 5 wins.
Will, great job pinch hitting, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Go Yanks tonight. Hopefully Anthony Volpe gets his head out of his ass.
That'd be nice. But you can't have a winning streak unless you win one game. So tonight we won a second game, and guess what? That's a winning streak, baby.
Jake, I know we're not. This is not a Yankee show. Why does everyone just defend Boone about like, hey, they can't field and they can't run the bases, but like it's not the manager's fault? I'm like, then what's his job? I understand analytics and all that stuff, but like at some point, they're the worst base running team I've ever seen in my life.
They run the bases like drunks, as John Sterling
situationally, like Volpe and Jazz get up there and they're like, I got to hit a home run. And it's like, No, you don't. Like the whole point of you being athletic is you don't have to hit a home run. Like let's stand and judge I don't know, whatever. Hopefully they win tonight and they get back on track and Judge snaps out of this little prolonged slump.
Yeah, I need him to get back to 390 at least. I mean, come on now.
What a fun, absolute loser.
Well, appreciate you, man. TOJ Pod. He's about to record an episode right now, I believe. So definitely check that out, everybody. Will Pa 11 on Twitter. Will Parkinson, Badlands, TOJ, all 32 Pod. Will Pa 11 on the socials, the TikTok, the whole thing. I went viral, by the way, on TikTok for a Aaron Glenn related short I posted yesterday. I don't TikTok. I just post and then leave. But we had like 50,000 views on one of the TikToks I put up there yesterday. So how do you do, fellow kids? Yeah. Phone lines open. Comments, questions, super chats. You tuned in late. I'm giving away a signed CJ Mosley jersey at the end of the show. We gave one out yesterday. We're going to give one away at the end of the show. One last chance to win a daily raffle prize this week. Signed CJ Mosley Mosley jersey. So gift away to be entered. Jake West says, Jake, that was cringe. That was kind of the whole point, Jake West. It's kind of the whole point. By the way, offer still stands. You gift 5, for example, we'll double it. It gets to 10. You give 10, it's 20 for the first one. Yo Holmes with a question. Over, under the amount of job applications Charles Gorman has submitted today. I mean, I'd set it at 0.5, and I'd take the under on it, to be honest. I'm a Charles guy, but let's be real. The only thing we know Charles Gorman has been doing the last 24 hours was this.
When's the next Batman movie? Probably around 2027, 2028. Excuse me.
I mean, just the lack of respect for society.
Excuse me.
So I got to call it how it is. Open phone lines live from the nudist colony. Charleston Jets Room is first today. Hello, Charleston.
Hey, what's up, bud? I was just having a smoke and about to hop in the pool here, but on my way right now. I think week 1's going to be a little tough. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a little better than what most people, I think, are thinking. I know he's a year older, but he started looking good with that AC, with coming back from the injury. But yeah, so I'm not saying we're going to lose, but I think it's going to be tough. And let me
Attaboy.
think.
There it is. That's a pool call right
You
there.
know,
That's 2 tickets. Well done, Mr. Rube.
I think they can win. I think they can win that game. It'll be tough, but I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a better year than what most people think. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if that game comes down to some kind of tiebreaker, because Mike Tomlin's famous for doing like 9-8, 10-7, 8-9, and who knows? This might be a tiebreaker. So I think that could be a big game early on in the season.
Well, that's a winnable game.
What are your thoughts on that, Jake?
Yeah, good call, Mr. Rube. The delay was killing us there, but I know you could hear us as I'm talking to you. The reality is, of the Jets' first 2 games, they're both at home, and the more winnable game is week 1. Crazy things happen in week 1. I mean, last year, the Patriots beat the Bengals week 1. Remember that? And Rodgers himself has had some bad week 1s, not talking about the week 1 with the Jets in 2023. He's been blown out in week 1. That's happened. It happened during his MVP years. Didn't matter because he was still the great Aaron Rodgers, but he's now also going into a situation where new coaching staff, new receivers, new linemen, I think he's still going to be a solid NFL quarterback, but it might not be week 1. We could hope, right? You want to push back on the SOJ karma, the same old Jets karma that's hovering over the Jets. Go out and kick his ass week 1 if you're Aaron Glenn and this Jets team. It's a winnable game. The Jets are going to be underdogs at home. That's a gambler's dream. The Sharps are going to be on the Jets side. The public is going to hammer the Steelers because the perception of the Jets is that this team is just god-awful. When in reality, part of the thinking why people believe they're god-awful is because all these big names have left, right? Well, let's go through it. Javon Kinlaw, Hassan Reddick, Morgan Moses. Those are 3 of the 5 names that you always see when you read previews for teams and it says key additions and key departures. Those are 3 of the 5 key departures. They stunk. 2 of them stunk. Morgan Moses was probably about average last year. Unfortunately, he was playing through an injury. I think Armand Member could be just as good as a rookie, if not better. I don't think Fields is better than Rodgers, but in a 1 game, they might be able to cancel each other out that early in the year. We'll see. And look, Devontae is obviously Devontae. That's the other key departure. But, Pittsburgh, they're not going 13-5 every year. Or 13-4, excuse me. They're going 9-8, 10-7. That means they're going to lose games. So week 1 is infinitely winnable. I do not for a second believe that we just should throw in the white towel and they're not no, man. Survive. The Jets a couple of years ago lost Aaron Rodgers on the 4th play of the season and beat the Bills that night with Zach Wilson at quarterback. It's the NFL, man. Things happen, especially early in the year. And not burying yourself early in the season is so important for the Jets. The schedule, in theory, softens in the latter half. You got to get to that point. And you hope that if Glenn's a good coach, this team gets better as the year goes on. The Eagles were 2-2 last year. Ladies and gentlemen, Jets Worldwide, a.k.a. Snowball, has just gifted 5 channel memberships. And Snowball had no idea this was coming. Ladies and gentlemen, the membership video, watch the screen. Blast off. That was Snowball jumping into his algae-infested green pool yesterday. Blast off. And I think there was water that got on his phone, which made him sound like a robot. But nonetheless, Jets Worldwide, our guy Snowball, in the raffle for 5. Chance to win a signed CJ Mosley jersey. Guess what? Snowball was the first to gift 5, so we're doubling it. He's getting 10 raffle tickets. We'll do the raffle at the end of the show. 6 rings in the house. 6 rings. I was just at Fanatics Fest. I saw Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Robert Kraft, Julian Edelman, all on stage together. You would have had an orgasm if you saw what I saw. Oh, wait. You're not actually a Patriots fan. You're wearing Dolphins gear yesterday. But anyway, this is actually a nice super chat, so I'll take it easy. Send Jets merch to Purple Belt Mike with this hope that you feel better. Gorman, get a job. I even work full time. I don't think you want it. How did Tom and Joe Namath when they wanted it? You don't. Okay, so Patriots have a lot going on here. On one hand, very nice to Purple Belt Mike. On the other hand, taking a shot at Gorman, spelling his name wrong, spelling Namath's name even worse than how he spelled Gorman, and saying that Tom Brady and Joe Namath, they wanted a job and Gorman doesn't. Now, this is quite the super chat here. Joe Namath. Man. Hey, I tell you what. I do appreciate the gesture. You're not wrong about Gorman. I wouldn't compare him to Tom Brady and Joe Namath, but I see what you're trying to do. I see what you're doing here. 6 rings. I'm just waiting for you to call in with Bills gear, though. That's the next step for you. Pat Rich says 6 rings just needs to embrace the Jets as his new team. I've said this. I mean, once he wore the Dolphins shirt yesterday, I mean, what are we even doing at that point, right? JD says 6 rings is here to stay. J-Quest, 6 rings props, bro. Everyone talks shit about him, but he's not that bad. Dylan, 6 rings doing good. You got to respect it. The bare minimum, you got to respect it. Gator had the idea yesterday that we all should send 6 rings our old Aaron Rodgers jerseys. JD has the same thought here, I see. Tom A says, Gorman has what it takes to be a winner. I also believe in Coach Shine. That's the best thing Charles has going for him. He's got an excellent job coach. Not Coach Mosk, but Coach Shine. That's the difference. All right, I got open phone lines for anyone who wants in. Reminder, you get a raffle ticket when you call in. Signed CJ Mosley jersey. I'll give that away at the end of the show. Brian says as long as Pittsburgh starts 0-1, we good. Well, if they start 0-1, we start 1-0. Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. Dylan says, over under 2.5 sacks on Rodgers. I take the over. I mean, if the Jets are going to win, Dylan, I feel like it has to be over, right? What I want to see week 1, if we're going to do like a week 1 preview here on June 20th, why not? They got to blitz a lot. All right. I'm not banking on the Jets getting home with their front 4. They might. Will McDonald might. He had a good game last year against Pittsburgh. Jermaine might, but he's coming off an Achilles injury in week 1. Quinnen might, but you can't expect consistent pressure from a defensive tackle. I want to blitz. Let's send the house at Rodgers. Let's send Quincy and Sherwood, 2 of the fastest players in the league. Forget their positions. Send the house. That's what I want to see. Rich says, hit the like. He's right. J-Quest, why can't we start 2-0? We can. Will they? Probably not. But I hope so. I just don't want them to be 0-2. I want the Jets to at least be 1-1 when we go to Tampa altogether. Now, if they're 0-2, at least we know that the season's not technically over. That's why I'm glad that the Tampa trip this year is week 3. I got lucky last year, the London game for the road trip a year ago. You know, the Jets were 2-2. But, you know, you don't want to be 0-2. Leo's Dogs checked in. Over under on Clemens' personal foul penalties. -1.5. I mean, the fact that he is still on this team, Leo's Dogs, and happy belated birthday, Leo. The fact that he is still on this team is unbelievable. He shouldn't be. I would take the over, though. I mean, it's comical, right? Has anyone ever seen a dumber penalty than the penalty Clemens had last year when he just jumped on the dog pile? Was that against the Bills, right? The second Bills game? What game was that where Clemens, the biggest moron I've ever seen, just jumped on the pile and got a personal foul penalty for no reason? Remember that? What game was? I think it was Buffalo. Someone in the chat won't remember. Oh, what a joke! That was the dumbest penalty ever. Disgrace. Jquest says, Jake, do you think Jermaine will be 100% by week 1? And what are the odds PBM is better by our playoff run? I do have a Purple Belt Mike medical update I could share with the people. According to sources, Purple Belt Mike will have his ACL operated on by the doctor for the New York Islanders. So he has a phenomenal sports orthopedic surgeon working on him. All right. So the ACL recovery is underway for PBM. He's got top-notch people helping him, and we wish PBM the best. But there's your medical update. The Brooklyn Boys writes in, Clemens is so undisciplined. One of my least favorite Jets ever. Did nothing positive. What's crazy is he did his rookie year. He did. But he didn't play a lot of his rookie year. It was a lot of special team stuff. It's when he got so overexposed when he had to play. By the way, Connor Long says it was Buffalo. Yeah, that bothers me to this day. There was no penalty for that either. Like there was no they left him out there. Like, oh, it's fine. Just commit more dumb penalties, Michael Clemens. Zero discipline at all with this football team last year. It's got to change. I think with Glenn it will. Nate says that the Jets doctor did both of his ACLs. Okay. So we will have at least 2 listeners who were medically operated on by professional team doctors. That's pretty cool. Jquest says, how about versus Buffalo at home when everyone knew Cohen contained the edge and he let Josh Allen go around him? Yeah, I mean, that was predictable, right? We all knew that was coming. He's going the wrong way in that play. That game was honestly lost before that play, but it was brutal. Brutal. Open phone lines if you want in on the conversation. Right now, there's only one man on hold. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's check in with one of the great minds in the history of the universe.
You know what time it is? A beast breaker, 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
What are you shaking your head for?
Reading something here, not so good.
Now you realize you called into this show.
Google
right?
is not so good. Google is not so good lately when it comes to anything good or quality. Not that good. Not good. Now I'm not. Well, I just got up from the nap not too long ago, and a little water action time. That spot. So how you feeling there, doctor? You feeling good?
Am I doctor?
Yeah, I was just saying, how you feeling?
I'm fine, Beast. How are you?
I've had better, except for took a nice nap, and then earlier, you might remember a movie I was watching it earlier, Captain Ron. You remember that movie, Captain Ron?
Beast, do you take a nap every day?
That's right.
So what time do you get up every day?
I'm a 4 a.m. guy.
So you get up at 4 a.m. and what do you do first? You get out of bed and then what?
Hey, get my read, and then when you gotta hit the warning, John, it's called get out the way.
Right.
Get out my way.
Uh-huh.
And you know what I mean? But after that, getting out the way, then it's called it's not playtime. It's work time.
What have you done for work today?
Weed pulling with these bare hands. Yanking the crap out of it. Get a handful. And
now, who's paying you for this?
Hey, it's free. My job. I do my own.
So how do you earn a living?
Hey, what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. Hey, it's called no quit complaining.
Right.
Get off your ass. Do some work for a change.
Right, but how do you pay for the bills in the attic or the lair?
It's global studio headquarters.
Well, people voted on the first show, and 73% thought it was a lair.
In the words of my doctor, Dr. Bernardino Garcia, as he wants it, it's all bullshit. Oh,
okay.
Bullshit. I've made my point loud and clear. I'm not going to yell it out today because that's too much. Too much information. I kind of see week one happening this way. Rogers getting his ass chewed out. All the fans throwing apples at him and telling him, "Hey, get out of here, you bum! You're
Why
weak."
apples?
Guys, the apples hurt harder than cucumbers do.
Okay. Have you ever been to a Jets game where fans brought in apples, Beast? I can't recall.
No, I haven't, but I kind of picture it happening because
okay.
Sometimes when I'm sleeping, I always picture this in my mind, going, "Oh my God, Rogers is gonna get everything thrown at him: apples, lettuce, carrots, and then and then something probably a soggy sandwich of old bologna and mildew bread. You know what mildew looks like? Green moldy bread.
Of course.
You throw the birds. Birds take it all the time. 90%. Did you ever try that? Oh, and I see Patriots 12s in here. If he wants to go again, put him in the ring with me. I'll go 5 rounds with him. Make it 3 rounds, 15 minutes. I can take a 15-minute round with him.
I'm worried you might pass out if we put you in the ring that long, Beast.
Hey, I've already had my nap. I'm already fresh.
Oh, really?
You don't think this body's good? Hey, this body is good.
Hey, show us your body, Beast. Let's see what we're working with here.
Now this.
Oh, God.
That's a body, baby.
Oh,
this is a body of a Greek god right here. You know why this is a Greek? Because this is too tough to hit. Hey, just because I shave, hit it again. That's called tough, buddy. Tough is getting up in the morning and realizing what you don't get for starters. Tough is getting your ass on the street and looking for a job. Tough
Great
is
God.
getting your money in your pocket. That's called tough.
Peak physical performance is what we're looking at, folks.
Yeah, well. You try doing something with a look on your face, and you're going, "Okay, baby, let's see if you got it, Rogers. Come on, big boy. Let's see what you're made of." That's you, Rogers. Don't screw with this boy. Ba, goo, ba, fangu.
Gabagool?
No, I said ba, fangu.
Oh, okay.
Soprano once said. Now let's go along to the next caller. I gotta take care of business.
I got some news for you, Beast. You're the only caller right now. We had 1 million calls on the first show today. I don't know where everyone is.
Yeah, but
You got things to do?
Phone calls.
All right, we'll take you off air. You're off air right now.
All right, thank you. I need business.
Rick Kent writes in, put your shirt back on, fat boy. Rick, my shirt never went off. I know what the people don't want. They don't want to see that. My shirt's staying on. How dare you? Tom Ace writes in, listening without watching. It sounds like Beast is simulating having sex. You know what's funny? I've had a couple of listeners that I've met that found the show on Spotify or Apple where we put the audio. And they're like, I had to go to YouTube to start watching the show because the sounds that I would hear from the callers, you needed to see what was happening. And I think Beast is the #1 example of that. Joshua claims that Beast is 2 hot pockets away from his death. Mike says this guy needs a job. Beast will tell you he has a job. David with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2 with this. Thank you, David. Good to have you part of the show. Jake, an additional reason why I believe Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes will heavily blitz versus the Steelers in the opener is the Steelers are expected to have a rookie running back, Caleb Johnson, as their #1 or #2 running back. For sure, their line was not great last year. I'd have to look to see what they did this offseason, if they've added any new starters to it. But they did not have a good offensive line a year ago. Hit the like button if you haven't. That helps the show continue to grow. Joshua says Charles Gorman goes to friendlies, starts talking loud on his phone, which is rude, and goes up to the worker and asks if they're hiring. That was a skit, not an honest attempt at employment. Strong take. Agree or disagree with Joshua there for those who saw Charles call yesterday. More of your calls right now. Coach Brian Oglick is on the line. Hello, Coach.
What's up, Jake? What's up, everybody? Yeah, I called in to save us from more of the god of Greek yogurt or whatever.
Please do, because I'm going to the Yankee game, so I was prepared to end the show after that Beast call. So Brian is the only reason why this show is going on right now. Otherwise, I'd be at Billy's right now drinking my ass off.
So if the roles were reversed, I'd ask you to hang up so I can go to the Yankee game, which I'm excited. Week 1, the Yankees are playing, I think, the Blue Jays. So I'm thinking catch the Yankee game on Saturday and then the Jet game on Sunday. I'm pretty stoked. It doesn't always work out that way when I fly in, but
I love that. I'm happy for you.
The clip that you played before, I love that Glenn is spicy. I don't care who he rubs the wrong way. It comes down to wins. That is what we're going to be defining his success off of. Spicy, serve it up. The last couple of coaches that were spicy, and then other, I think Will mentioned other coaches in the league, they get it done. So if that's any indication, great. You can't correlate them. You can't say it's Parcells. You can't say it's somebody else. It's Glenn.
Well, be yourself. That's the big thing, right? Be yourself. If Glenn is that guy, which I think he is, be that guy. Like the worst thing you could do is not be yourself, because players see through that. Like, you have to be authentic. I think what helps Glenn is he's been a former player before, and he's been a former great Jet before, and he could relate to the guy saying, I was here when we were a 1-win football team, and I saw how quickly it turned when we had the right people and coaching brought into the building. And he could reference Parcells and how they won 9 games a year after that 1-win season. A year after that, they're in the championship game. Like, he could play on his experiences as a player, as a Jet player. I think that's super valuable to a lot of guys in that room, especially the guys that have been here a few years, like Glenn was at the time when Kotite came in and went through all the losing, like Sauce and Brees and Quinnen and Garrett. These guys have only seen losing, especially Quinnen. He's been here for Adam Gase and Saleh, right? So, like, I think that's a huge thing that Glenn has going for him, despite the fact he's the first-time coach.
Yeah, he comes off as very genuine. Like, that's who he is. Like, if you met him in Costco, that's what he'd sound like. And I don't think he's putting on an act. I think that's probably just him. As we uncover him through adversity, we will find out if the message changed or if it breaks him or breaks the team. We were so damn fragile the last couple of years. One thing went wrong and the team seemed to fall apart, not be able to really pick themselves up. Can I say something about Michael Clemens?
Please do.
I'm a fan. I'm a closet fan, I guess.
I think you told this story. Didn't you meet his family or something?
I met him. He doesn't look or react to the crowd at all. I was the only other person in the stadium a couple of years ago wearing a Clemens jersey, and he was the other one. And I pointed at him, and he nodded at me. He came over. I told him to go destroy, and he signed my jersey. And other people are like, he's never signed a single autograph ever. I don't know if anybody else has encountered him before. I just loved his whole angry and mentally deep takes that we caught on Hard Knocks or whatever Jets, One Jets Drive or whatever, the flight path or whatever it's called. I just loved his authenticity as well. I just really want to see it show up on the field. I am not a fan of the self-inflicted penalties, the wounds. So that's hard for me to be a his fan and then not see it backed up on the field.
I'm amazed that you spent hard-earned money on a Michael Clemens jersey. Like, that is astonishing.
I work hard. I buy what I want. And I also fly across the country all the time to see the Jets. And
hell yeah.
They tend to let folks down, but I'm a believer. I'm in. I'm ride or die. So that's what we got. And I'm also a Michael Carter fan. Michael Carter, the running back, is one of the most respectful, kind human beings. I'm sure you've had a chance to meet him, but even when he was on Arizona and I saw him there, man, he spends time with the fans, the kids. He's just such a culture locker room guy. I was a little upset that we weren't able to put his skills to better use.
He's a good guy. I wish him well. Unfortunately,
yeah,
it's weird, right? Because he flashed as a rookie, and I thought he was really good, and then it just never really happened for him after that flash in the pan season.
Yep, agreed. All right, go to the Yankee game, man. I'm jealous. Go Yankees.
Brian, thank you. Don't worry, I'll stay on a little while longer. We're not even an hour in, but I do have no one on the line. So if you're a first-time caller, now is the time. And first-time callers, instead of one raffle ticket, we'll give you 2 if you make your debut. We haven't done one of these in a while, so it's time for everyone's favorite segment.
It's time for Ask Jake Anything. Ask about New York sports. Can't afford a therapist? Maybe Jake can help. We can even discuss if the moon landing was real. Seriously, ask Jake anything.
Any question you want, for the most part. Fire it off, and we'll read it. Reminder, this Monday is the AsManiac raffle for the full-size Joe Namath helmet, Darrelle Revis signed football, Wayne Corbett signed jersey, and the Kevin Mawai signed jersey. Comments, questions, super chats. Dave Brigga says, we are not interested in personalities, just wins at this point. I mean, that's really the bottom line, right? I want Glenn to be himself, but ultimately how he is at the podium will not impact winning. It won't. Salo was a super nice guy. Andy Reid's a super nice guy. One guy's a great coach. The other one was not. Bill Belichick, big douche. Great coach. Didn't matter. One doesn't equate to the other. John says, in and out overrated. I think yes. Well, I don't think it's overrated if you go into it with the proper understanding of what you're getting. What I mean by that is this. In and out is very good. And it's efficient and it's quick. I think Whataburger is better. But Whataburger is barely fast food. It takes forever. You ever wait on the drive-in line for a Whataburger? It is ridiculous. It takes so long for them to make it. So, In-N-Out is just more efficient. It's not maybe as good, but you get it quicker. And, if you're in the mood for it, I think it hits home. So, I don't think it's overrated. And my rating system, I have it properly rated. Aurora lives in Texas, and she doesn't like Whataburger. That's interesting. Brian says, In-N-Out equals great burger, not so good fries. Fair. Rick Kent lives in California, where there's In-N-Outs everywhere. Solid fast food burger. I agree. My favorite fast food place, though, is Raising Cane's. By the way, Aurora, where have you been? We got to get you back on the show as a regular, representing the 4%ers, 4.5%. Snowball says, Shake Shack kills it. Tough to argue. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. Coach Cho is on the line. Coach, how we doing?
What's up, Jake?
Coach?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, Coach. How are you?
Just laying here chilling, man. Had a busy week. Was in Atlanta for a elite basketball camp that I was helping run.
How was Atlanta?
A lot of traffic, man. I'm sure it's nothing like New York, but it's a lot of traffic for North Carolina.
How'd the interview with the Knicks go, Coach?
Pretty good. Just wait for a second one.
Yep.
You gonna come on and help me out if I get it?
Whatever you need.
You can get me on weekly.
You'll do a weekly spot on the show?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you, Coach.
You'll be my media correspondent.
Now, Cho, when you're coaching, What is your coaching posture? Because the only posture we've seen from you on this show is that exact look you're in right now.
What do you mean?
Like, do you stand up?
Well, I'm an assistant coach, so I stand up during practice.
I see.
But as assistant coach, we all sit down except for the head coach.
Are you hunched over at practice, or you're standing straight?
You mean hunched over, like with your hands on your knees?
Well, what I think people are wondering is, anytime we've seen you call into the show, you almost look like you're paralyzed. So there's some people like Rick Kent who want you to move so you could prove that you're not, in fact, paralyzed.
I'm not paralyzed. I've had 10 spinal fusions though, so I don't stand all the way straight. I lean over just a little bit.
Does it affect how you lay down on a couch?
I don't lay down on a couch. I usually sit in a recliner, or in my bed. I have to sleep upright. I can't sleep sideways.
Dave Briga says Cho has terrible posture. Would you like to respond to Dave?
Yeah, I mean, my posture's not that good just because of my spinal fusions.
Rick Kent says you aren't a coach at all. He's not buying that you're a coach.
Really?
That's according to Rick Kent.
Wow, I've been coaching for over 30 years.
Beastbreaker says he sleeps on his right side.
Who does? He does?
Yes.
I wish I could sleep on my side. It messes up my neck too much.
Beast says he gets lots of good sleep.
I bet he does. I wish I could sleep better.
Beast takes a nap every day.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't take naps.
When was the last time you napped?
Oh, boy. It's been a while. Too long to think how long it's been.
Spring of 94?
I don't know.
What were you doing in the spring of 94, Coach?
Spring of 94. I was probably watching the Rangers win the Stanley Cup.
And the Knicks go to the NBA Finals.
That's right. They lost in 7 to the Rockets.
What do you think of the OJ chase? Were you locked into that?
Nah. My mom was more locked in it than I was.
I see.
She called me and give me updates. So how have you been?
Pretty good.
You going to the Yankee game tonight?
I am.
Who are they playing?
They're playing the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, nice. I like the Orioles.
Do you?
Yeah, being from the area. Always like, we didn't have a team in DC, so we all had the team in Baltimore.
That makes sense.
When I was in Little League, when we used to do our little field trips, we always took a trip to Memorial Stadium in Baltimore to watch the Orioles.
Were you a big baseball guy growing up, Big Joe?
Yeah, pretty much. I played a little baseball.
Yeah.
I was a fan.
What position were you?
I played all over, but my best position was second base.
How are you at turning the double play?
I can turn it.
You a backhand guy?
Any which way, man.
What type of hitter were you, Big Joe?
Switch hitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Better on the left side than the right, but my dad always taught me to switch.
Joe Mike calls you Big Cho Knobloch.
Big Cho not. Oh, yeah. Isn't he the guy that couldn't throw it to first base?
Rick Kent says, with this demeanor, he probably was second base.
The actual base?
Do you and Rick Kent have some sort of history against one another?
No, Why? I never said nothing about Rick. I don't even know who he is. Is he upset with me?
I don't know. He keeps taking some shots at you, and I don't know what's the cause of this.
Oh no. I have nothing against him. I didn't even know who he was. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I would agree. Rick is a nice guy.
Yeah, I don't know him at all. I'm not sure why he would take a shot at me.
I'm not sure either. I'll have to look into this. All right, Big Joe?
Yeah, you do that.
Yep. Anything else on your mind?
No, just resting up a little bit, getting ready to do some recruiting in North Carolina this weekend.
Now, who's holding the camera that you're using? Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone, yeah.
Why is it shaking so much?
I shake a little bit.
You know, just a little moving and grooving type of thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I shake a little bit.
You shake your booty?
No, I don't shake my booty anymore.
No.
Do you shake yours? You're young enough.
Oh, all the time.
I bet. That must be a sight.
Oh, it's that's on my OnlyFans, Big Joe. That's not for free.
I got you.
Now, let me bring on my lead investigator. Let's try and look more into this issue with Rick Kent. Beast, what do you think's going on here with Rick Kent and Big Joe?
No comment. Big Joe, I don't know much about you. Where are you from? The Baltimore area?
I'm originally from Northern Virginia, D.C. area, but I live in North Carolina.
I see. So you grew up an Orioles fan, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, that sounds reasonable. How many years have you been an Oriole fan?
I guess since I've been a baseball fan, and I'm 59.
Right. All right, I see that point. Are you a big football person? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
All right, very good. Very, very good. Jets guy, correct?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very good. You're passing my test. I like that. You're so far 2 for 2. I like this. Now if we go 3 for 3, I could squeeze you into the MOB. You know what the MOB is, right?
The mob.
That's right. That's right. New York has a mob here. See, we have a club here. It's called Once You Fit In, You Fit In. If you don't fit in, you gotta take a ticket and you gotta keep trying. But I like your spirit, kid. But how the hell could you sleep like that? Are you like that in your bed all the time?
Yeah, usually I sleep up a little more than this. It's just the way it happened since I had several spinal fusions. It's the only way I can sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, tell me, do you what mattress do you have? Did you get one from Mattress Firm, or did you get one from a company that I don't know nothing about?
Probably the latter. My sister and brother actually bought me the mattress. I don't know where it's from. It came when I came from the hospital a couple operations ago, where it actually inclines and declines.
Does it have the little thing on there where you could adjust it?
Yeah, you can move it up or down.
All right, that sounds fair. Wise decision. Well, for the very, very future, just try and take better care of yourself and don't screw up your bones. All right, try and take care of yourself, okay? And keep that in mind for the very near future. And best of luck to you in your future endeavors. If you think about being a Knicks coach, try and keep up the good work on it, and keep trying to and keep reaching for the stars. That's all I got to tell you, kid.
Thanks, Doc.
Hey,
you get the fuck out.
All right, I think we covered a lot of ground today, Big Joe.
Yeah, I like Beast.
Me too.
He seems like a good guy. Will he be at the game?
I'm not sure. He has to get approval to leave the lair or the world headquarters, global headquarters.
The attic?
Yep.
I see.
Would you chaperone him?
Oh, no. He might be a hard person to chaperone.
I see.
He's a big boy. That's a big dude.
He is big. And powerful.
I don't doubt it.
All right, Big Cho. Well, great energy today, and we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Yeah, I'll call you when I get back from recruiting.
All right, I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Cho.
You get the out.
Tremendous. All right, let's bring on, to quote Charles Gorman, a lovely lady. Aurora's in the house. Where have you been, Aurora? We miss you around here.
Well, working. That's a first. Severe weather season for us is always really busy. I was on call for most of the overnight storms, so my days were inverted. So I slept during the day and then on call at night. So I was working with that. And then plus, unfortunately, one of my close friends passed away unexpectedly.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. So we did a celebration of life trip last weekend for her. So been kind of just dealing through all that, but kind of getting back into the groove. Planning's Wesley's surprise birthday party. His birthday party's tomorrow.
Ooh, what are we doing? Is he watching right now?
No, he's not watching, and
Okay.
he won't watch tonight and everything. But I'm having his friends come up from Austin and surprise him. So there'll be a good group of us at the house and just doing something small to, help celebrate him. So really happy about that. But today's like my first day off that I've had in pretty much 7-8 weeks.
Wow.
Without I having like some sort of work. I only went last weekend to Florida for the weekend trip. So I was there for 48 hours and then I left. So kind of just nonstop.
I'm glad that you're finally back on the show.
Yes. I've heard from many people asking, where have you been? Why haven't you been in tune? And I'm like, fortunately, when work happens and life happens, you got to attend to those things. So, but I'm back. I'm here. I've been keeping up with everything.
So what are your thoughts on your fellow Texan Gary saying that you shouldn't be allowed to vote?
I mean, I'm just going to ignore it. I don't care. I don't care what he thinks. So, I actually did not hear that he said that. That's interesting, though.
Oh, he said it multiple times.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, when I see him next at the Binions, I'm gonna have to question him.
You should. Throw him in the hole for us.
I will throw him in the hole. And I didn't know that we're doing all interviews and life stories on here now. So
yeah, this is kind of peak off season right now. There's not much till late July. I'm trying to do more giveaways and raffle prizes and stuff like that because let's be real. The only people that are watching a daily Jet show this time of year are like the diehard fans.
The diehards, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, everything what I'm hearing right now through all the articles and, all the videos is that, they're changing the culture. So, I mean, I'm hoping that we see sparks. I've been seeing that some analysts have been ranking that the Jets are going to be the wild card team, the unexpected sleeper, to kind of fly under the radar. So, we'll just see, but I'm hoping that the offense will drum up what it needs to drum up in order to be effective. So,
I mean, it's a lot of question marks and unknowns. There is talent, which does give you some hope. I like what I've heard from Glenn too, but it's just I think there's a lot of people just kind of in wait and see mode, which is totally fair given how bad it's been.
Yeah, it is going to be wait and see mode. And, with the first game of the week against, your favorite, Aaron, it's going to be very interesting on how this is all going to play out with it. So,
remember when I saw you last and the Jets were 2-1 and we were
I
feeling
know.
great?
We were all thinking we were going to go to the Super Bowl. We're all good. And then all of a sudden, the world started to crash around us. So, but yeah, I had some of the Jets people call me being like, hey, do you want to do your group buy again? I'm like, I'm not completely sure if I want to do it this year because again, I want to have a little bit more with that, but we'll see what happens.
Well, if you can make it for the Panthers game, we got the group ticket for that this year. That's the game we're doing. I don't know if you saw any of the posts in the Discord about it, but the link's there if you're interested in joining us.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So, like, I can't unfortunately go to week 1 right now because I have training scheduled. But I'm trying to either go to week 2, maybe, or go to week 3.
Oh, come to Tampa with us. Yes.
Yeah. Well, so I'm trying to get my father to come, and him and I do a father-daughter trip. Because he lives in Fort Myers, which is like, yeah, it's only an hour and a half. But he always says, "Oh, it's hurricane season. You don't know what's gonna happen." So I'm hoping that, it would work out, but we'll just see. But we're just kind of figuring things out. I know he mentioned something to me like, which game do you want to go to this year? And we'll just see. I know he doesn't want to go during when it's cold because he was like, we went to the Black Friday game 2 years ago, and he was like, even though it was fun, I'm miserable. I froze my butt off.
The Tim Boyle game? How was that fun in any way?
I know it was not fun. And here's the thing: we were in the corner where Tyreek Hill's mom was. Like she was like 6-7 rows in front of us, and it was the same area where the Fail Mary got returned back. They literally like Tyreek hopped on into the stadium, like in the seats and everything. That game.
Horrible.
So, it was horrible, But yeah, no, I'm back. I'm present and keeping track of everything, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. And I'm kind of hoping we see some light during the preseason. Like we see, okay, they're being different with their schemes, they're being different with their play calling. I also think what needed to be improved was the clock management from last year, because I think that was awful as well. So I'm hoping that we see those strides, and we see it being implemented. But there's a lot of unknowns. But again, we can be the sleeper. I'm just holding on to that. We can be the sleeper team.
Oh, great point here from New Q. Are you aware that Charles has his own place and maybe a job coming? He's becoming a hot commodity.
I heard that he got his own place. I did not know that possibly a job coming, but congratulations to him.
It is big time. He's come a long way from when you went on his show in regards to the chicken soup recipe.
Yes, the chicken soup recipe.
Aurora, you're awesome. Glad you could call in. Hopefully you call back more and reach out to me if you have any questions with Tampa or the Carolina game. It'd be great to get you at one of them.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best to try to make it to one. I just got to work it out with my father because, again, he has some things going on with him that he needs to take care of too. So
good luck with that. Aurora, you're the best. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Aurora checking in. How about that? The return of Aurora. For those new to the show, Aurora is a longtime listener. Jake West says, Jake, we got a big chill emoji. Someone designs it. Absolutely. I don't know how to design any of that. Make sure you look up what the sizing needs to be for YouTube for anyone who's going to try. Lou B checks in with a super chat. I just saw Brady at Fanatics Fest. He saw my Jet shirt and pointed at it and started talking shit immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, Lou B is on the line. Lou, are you in traffic coming back from Fanatics Fest right now?
Jake, I just left Fanatics. I'm on my way to Atlantic City. But, you have to respect the competitor that he is because he's at a card vault at Fanatics and he sees me and I go, I want to just one. And he turns and looks red and just starts boom. And I'm like, man, you. And he just got so heated so quickly. I was like, wow, this guy's still a competitor. It's unbelievable. But I hope all is well. I'm all in for the Jets this year. I just think they just started it in completely new business. It's a business at the end of the day. And they cleaned house, and I'm a firm believer. I go to all the games. I think this is going to be a good year. I know everyone says, "Oh, it's the same old Jets." It's not the same old Jets. It's a new team, and I'm all in. And I'll see you in Tampa. Also, I'm coming with the crew.
Let's go, Lou.
We didn't work out the ticket check, but we're going to.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a great weekend. Yeah. So I'm glad you're making the trip.
Love it. Well, hope all is well, and that's it. All Jets all the time.
Love it. Lou, safe trip down to AC, my friend, and we'll catch up with you soon. Appreciate the super chat as well. Lou be a true diehard. Met Lou at a Knicks game, one of the playoff games a couple of weeks back. Great dude in the entertainment industry. Awesome guy. Glad that he's coming to Tampa, man. We got a lot of great listeners that are making the Tampa road trip. Can the Jets win? That's what we need, man. We know win in Tampa. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. I'll stay on a little while longer. No one is currently on hold besides Beast. So if you call in, you'll get right on. Beast, how we feeling?
Okay, I'm looking for a.
You get the fuck out. So now's your chance to get in on the show. And I'm also at the end of the show. I will say, this is probably the least amount of entries we've ever had in a daily raffle so far. So if you're in, you got a great chance to win. Right now, Mike Perez, Uno Jets is 2. Charleston Jets Rube is 2. Coach Oglick has 1. Snowball 10. David 2. Big Cho 1. Aurora 1. Lou B 1. Signed CJ Mosley jersey. I raffle it away at the end of the show, which is coming up here. So gift the membership to enter. Send in a $10 super chat as the minimum to get 2 raffle entries. In honor of CJ Mosley's retirement, we'll give away a signed CJ Mosley jersey. JoJo, she's in the raffle for 5. JoJo, thank you very much. Speaking of Tampa, hope we get JoJo down in Tampa with us. Dan NY, Jay Sean, Jose Delgado, James, and ED, all receiving a channel membership there from JoJo. Thank you, JoJo. All right, more questions here. We did a little Ask Jake Anything, and then we got Big Chode there. Carly wrote in, what really happened during the Jet Lounge Twitter space on November 14th, 2022? I believe that was an incident where the suggestion of banning lovely ladies, the quote Gorman, from tailgates might have been discussed, among many things that were discussed. There was a Jet chant at the end of that space with a chicken rooster in the background. That was a weird night. So weird, we're talking about it years later. I think the people involved in that have disbanded too. Daz Acoustic in the house. I want in F6 rings. He lives in his grandmother's house. Daz, you are in the raffle. Thank you very much. Julian is on the line. He's called in. What's up, Julian?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Julian.
Do I sound good? Hey,
we lost you for a second, but we got you right now. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We're all good. Maybe it's not good. Hold on.
What?
Is it working better now? It's gone.
Yeah, I think so. You lose the AirPods? All right. Try again, Julian. Barbarossa's next. What's up, Barbarossa?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Friday. Cheers to all the ASMANIACS. So I just wanted to say, like, it's about the Glenn stuff. Like, he's building a culture, and that's really how you gotta do it. Like, he's gotta be the leader and the alpha, and our star players have to take after him, and that'll percolate through the rest of the team. But he really is building a culture. I know I've said this before, but that's got to be a strong point for our team right at the beginning of the season. Like, we have to see evidence of a strong culture, and I think we'll see that. Or if we see no penalties and coming out strong, starting game strong, which is like the exact opposite of what Rob Asala did, I think we'll see some evidence for a strong foundation of that culture that we're talking about. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I think getting off to a good start reinforces that, hey, I know what I'm doing, guys, if I'm Aaron Glenn. It's not like the end-all, be-all, but I think it makes his job easier if they do get off to a good start and he could point to, see, you guys trust me, I know what I'm doing. Because they're going to have a tough training camp for today's standards, right? So if it leads to some wins early, the players could be like, it was tough, but they know what they're doing. Like, we got a real leader here who we could believe in.
Yeah, it's got to be tough, and they kind of do need to win. The players have to buy in. I really just think that the culture piece is super important. Just speaking on the Yankees, man, finally won a game yesterday and scored some runs. So I hope you have fun at this one. Hopefully they score more than like one or two runs.
Score a couple runs and they should be all right, but we'll see.
Oh, Fried's pitching. Oh, so then we'll be fine. But I think the Yankees, like, I don't know if I feel like you guys have talked about this a little bit, but I was just talking yesterday with a coworker about Volpe and just we got to get a better bat in the middle of the infield. Like as much as I like him, I just don't see him as the guy. And I'm kind of tired of seeing him come up in situations and not deliver. Even though I like him, I just don't think he's just not quite there.
He's not what I think a lot of us thought he was going to be. But at the same time, you wouldn't replace him. I mean, they need another right-handed bat that could be a third baseman or a second baseman because I think they're a bat short right now. And Volpe is so streaky. That's his problem. He was actually pretty good in the playoffs last year, and he was good in the World Series for what it's worth. But he's not. People wanted him to be Bobby Witt. He's not that. Like he's an okay major league shortstop. He's a plus defender. He's a streaky hitter.
He's average. He's an average player, and but they need another bat. They need like another power hitter, whether it's at third base or at second base or shortstop or something. But I really feel like they need another strong bat in the lineup if they're going to really be competitive. Because they've been exposed. Basically, you can shut down Aaron Judge. Then you can beat them. So I just think that's what they need. And the last thing I wanted to say, just with the game, our game one against Pittsburgh and Rogers, I feel like this is the best time to play them. Like if Rogers is going to really play poorly, it's more likely to be when nobody on the team is used to what he's doing or used to the system. So I feel like we have our best chance to win, and winning that game is really going to help more than winning any other. I think besides a divisional rival, beating Rogers is going to help Glenn more than beating any other team.
Yes. But if they lose week 1, but then come around and beat Josh Allen week 2, you see how quickly it could change again. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's important. I agree with you. I think don't start 0-2. That's my big thing.
Yeah.
Like, don't bury yourself early.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, Jake. Have fun at the game. Later, Asmaniacs.
Barbarossa, excellent call. He's earned a raffle ticket with that one, folks. More of your calls right now. Home stretch here. Pork of the morning is next. Hello, Pork. Where you been?
I was in Birmingham for a couple days. I want to thank you guys for the ride home on Wednesday. I listened to you guys the whole time, so it made for a nice ride home. And when I was in Birmingham, I was in a bottling headquarters. I can't say who, but they're very famous, and Joe Namath was on the wall there.
Hey.
So that was nice to see. And then while I was down there, we signed the Birmingham Stallions kicker. So
that's right. The thicker
I don't
kicker.
know if I had anything to do with it, but maybe.
Well, you watched them, right? So tell us what type of kicker are we getting with the thicker kicker here?
He makes field goals. He's accurate. That's all I could really say. I mean,
all right.
He's not a bad kicker. I mean, the UFL isn't like a big pool of talent, I mean, but if we could get, 80% out of the guy, if we could get what he did for his team in the UFL, the Stallions, he only missed one field goal all year. So, I'll take that any day. And, hey, I got a date tonight. I'm going to meet this lady in about a half hour. So
that's why you got the clean shave.
Yeah. We're going to the arcade. Let's see how it works out. She seems like a decent lady. I mean,
this is a first date?
Yeah.
I like it. How'd you guys get in touch with each other?
We met on Facebook. So
really?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, first date after my divorce. So
this is the first date you've been on since the divorce, like first ever since the divorce?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Way to put yourself out there, Pork. We're excited for you.
Yeah. Well, I thank you guys. I appreciate the support. I'll keep you guys tuned in, and everybody have a great and safe weekend. It's going to be hot, so stay hydrated.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our guy, Pork of the Morning.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
Maybe not on date 1, but eventually, congrats on the sex. But maybe on date 1. I don't know. I don't know what Pork's getting into later. I don't know how they do it down in Memphis. Good luck, Pork. That's awesome, man. Mike Dems, I see you have gifted a membership. We got you in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Mike. Let's get to a couple more calls here before we call it a show. Again, CJ Mosley signed jersey. Giving that away at the end. If you don't win, that's okay. Also, I have a big Cho emoji that Gator just sent me. How do we feel about this? Chat, give us the feedback here. I don't know how Big Cho feels about this. Like he's an insane asylum patient, has to be like strapped down. Maybe we lose the straps, Gator. Maybe that's not the best way to characterize Big Cho. He looks like Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, Rick Cat. Big Cho Lecter. God. All right. I think it's a good start, though, Gator. Well done. More calls. Julian, we're going to go back to you. Hopefully we hear you this time. What's up, Julian?
How is it? How is it? Is it good?
Much better. Yes, sir.
Oh, I was in my dungeon at the shop here, so I'm outside now. Actually, first time calling in, so this is pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Love the show. Love the show. Love everybody here. It's such a cool environment and stuff.
I appreciate you calling in, Julian. I got you down for 2 now. First time caller. Give us your state of the Jets. How we feeling?
State of the Jets. Actually, funny thing that happened today. I met Bryce Huff today at the shop.
Really?
Yeah, he just got a car done, a vinyl wrap on his McLaren. I don't know how the guy fits in it because he's this massive man. And he was just here. He was complaining about it, and my shop does the same thing. But he was just here, and he's like, he's definitely moving out to California. He confirmed that, so he's going to the 49ers. So it was just interesting. It's a cool day to meet him.
Yeah. Did he bring up Salah or anything? He's gonna play for him again?
No, he didn't say anything like that. I didn't really bother him. He was like, he was real concerned about his car at the time. So he just picked it up from another shop, and it seemed the wrap job just wasn't that good on it. So
yep,
I have no idea what shop it was, but it was pretty cool. What is it? What did I say earlier? I think they're gonna go second in the division this year. I know it's
second. How many wins?
I guess we gotta go at least 10, right, to see if that happens.
Probably. Well, it's interesting. How many games are the Patriots going to win on the Dolphins? Second place in the AFC East. I think you probably need to be safe at least 9 for sure. 10 might. You're right though. 10 might be the number where you're second place in the division.
Yeah, I know the Patriots added a lot, but I don't know if they're gonna be all that good right now. Like, because their team was really, really bad last year.
Horrible.
So how much could they have done? I guess enough. But
coaching, way different.
We know how
Drake May in year 2.
Mike Ray, he had Derrick Henry in Tennessee, right? And but he didn't have like the greatest QB either. But I guess he could be really good here. I don't know. Drake May might be good. Sophomore slump though, maybe.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
Well, Julian, good call, man. Good to get you on. Appreciate you making it. Yeah, the thing with New England, they got a lot of new pieces. Their O-line was so bad last year. We'll see what Will Campbell is. If he's a guard or a tackle, we'll find out. They had Morgan Moses. You know, Stephon Diggs, I think, is their X factor because they're paying him to be a number 1 receiver. Is he still that at this stage of his career? 31 years old, coming off the ACL. I mean, Drake May looked okay last year, right? He definitely impressed at times. You look at his stats ultimately, 15 touchdowns, 10 picks. Not anything like crazy, but if you watch the games, you saw he had bad coaching. You saw that the O-line was bad. Like, you expect improvement. Their defense on paper is pretty good. They got Gonzalez and some Barmore and some good players there. And we know Vrabel's a real coach, so they're going to be better. How much better? I mean, they won 4 games last year. Think about it. They doubled their win total. They're at 8 wins. The Jets doubled their win total. They'd be at 10. Put it in perspective. So we'll see. Jason says that the Jets are the best fans in the NFL. You guys know where I stand on that. I'm doing a daily Jet show about a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 15 years. The best fans, not even just in the NFL. You could argue Jet fans are among the best in sports. That's how passionate and how loyal this fan base is. Speaking of passionate and speaking of loyal, ladies and gentlemen, it is Clifton time.
Hello, Jake.
Hello, Mr. Clifton.
I'm sorry I missed the first half of the show because the second half has been pretty interesting, actually. Barbarossa had some great points before. One of the biggest problems that I had with Sala was I think we were the most heavily penalized defensive team in the league last year. Does that sound right?
That they were the most penalized team on defense, and I think they were top 5 in the NFL overall.
Right. So, I mean, that's got to change, right? There's too many talented players on the defense to have that happen, right? And if we can come back to the middle of the pack, that's going to go a long way towards righting the ship a little bit.
Yep.
I still think they're going to be 8-9. They are a little bit short in the weapons area, and the quarterback is a little unsettled. Some of the special teams is a little unsettled. We don't know if we're going to have a dependable kicker. We don't know if we're going to have dependable field position. But I think you're going to see a step forward. I don't think second place is out of the realm of possibility. And I think you might tie for second place with 8 wins, right? Like you might be in the mix. There might be 2 teams in this division, 8-9, then a fourth team that is bringing up the rear. Also, his point about the Yankees, I think that the obvious position to target is third base. And because as much as Chisholm hasn't embarrassed himself at third, he's better at second.
100%. Right? I think they're only playing him at third, Kyle, because
necessity, right?
They had no choice. Like DJ could play. DJ has no range, so you can put him at second. It's better for now, and then ultimately you'll move Jazz back to second if you get a third baseman. It's also probably easier to find a second baseman on the trade market than a third baseman if you just look at the options that are likely out there.
It's so funny because LeMahieu was such a great signing the first time and such a bad signing the second time. I can't ever remember a player like that.
His body just betrayed him, man. It sucks because he was unstoppable his first 2 years with the Yankees. He was the best, just pure hitter. Like there's not a guy you wanted up there, 2 outs, runner in scoring position, game on the line than him.
Yeah, it's funny because I find myself agreeing a little bit with Barbarossa this afternoon, but I think he had a big problem with my take. I wasn't really supporting Gary. I was supporting Gary's relationships ability to be uniquely themselves, right? Like if Gary and his wife want to live their lives that way, they should have at it. I don't necessarily agree with what he's laying out there with women and the right to vote and stuff like that. But I understand that there are people out there that are more traditionalists that works for them, and more power to them. I guess it's not the way of the world as I know it. If you're like me and you have kids, both parents have to work nowadays. It's the way of the world.
He's on your side. Barbarossa says, I totally agree. You're all good.
Yeah, it's just it's a tough situation because people hear that stuff and they think it's Gary is presenting them with an affront. I think that's just Gary being Gary. He's unique and set in his ways, and it's not necessarily the ways that the rest of us would take. Thanks for your time, Jake.
Kyle, as usual, as not even usual, always great points. Gary being Gary. Well said. All right, folks, before I get to a few super chats and 2 more calls and then do the raffle, Gator has sent the updated Coach Cho emoji. And I think this one might be a winner. We went from Hannibal Lecter Cho to truly a Coach Cho emoji. The whistle. And I think this is a winner, Gator. Well done. I got to check to see how many members we are away from being able to add a new emoji, but this will be the next one whenever we hit that threshold. Shout out to John, a 50 burger. You kidding me, John? Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 memberships in the raffle because of this $50 super chat.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
Jake, I received the Fields jersey Wednesday night. It's a size too big, but I'm not going to complain. Also got the AG shirt, same night. Thanks again. John, thanks for supporting the show, man. I guess if the jersey's too big, you just got to drink a lot of beer and have a lot of McDonald's and put on some weight. Let me bring on my weight specialist. Beast, we need John to gain some weight. What would you recommend?
Cheesecake Factory, my friend.
Okay.
Go to Cheesecake Factory. The best. And I'm telling you why it's the best. Better bacon burgers, better fries, and they have the best Oreo cheesecake on the market.
John, you heard it here first. Cheesecake Factory. Well done, Beast.
You get the out.
Thank you, Beast. All right, John, we'll take care of that for you. Jose Lopez. Salute to the captain. Number 57, CJ Mosley. CJ's probably on my top 3 Jets linebackers list. Respected. Jose, good luck in the raffle. I hope you win. You are in for 5 with the super chat. Bo is also in for 5. Bo C, our guy, checking in with a 5 spot of gifted memberships for the people.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Long John Silber, Joe Chim, Admiral Average, Ricky Cooch, and David White, all receiving memberships there from Bo C. Okay, let's all come together for this next call because he's a man of God. The football gods, of course. Jets Jesus is on the line. Hello, Jets Jesus.
Hey, Jake. I made the mistake yesterday of trying to catch up and then missed calling into the second show. So I did not make that mistake today. So I'm a little not caught up on what was going on earlier. But I feel like that's okay because I get on and I get to jump right in.
I love it. Well, I'm glad that you were on Jets Jesus because there's nothing like a Jets Jesus call on a Friday.
Thanks, buddy. One of the things I wanted to kind of been wanting to do my last couple of calls, I know I had one where I was at the gym and I didn't have good service. And we've been talking a lot of like media reactions to different things. And I want to start off that idea by giving you some flowers because I really appreciate that you know a lot of these people and you've worked with a lot of these people and you probably had some positive relationships with a lot of them, but it doesn't hold you back from being critical of them and kind of just being like, what from everything I'm aware of, uncensored on how you handle them and giving your genuine perspectives and sharing your genuine feelings about them. So kudos to you, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, you have to, like, this show is successful because I don't work for the Jets. You know what I mean? Like, I might have relationships with people that are there or have interviewed players or coaches before or, like, met people at the combine, right? But it's like, if I can't be critical, then the show wouldn't work. Then it's just state media, like I'm a fan at the end of the day, and fans are critical of their own team. It doesn't mean we don't love our team, but like you have to be critical of your team. It can't all be like positive, especially when you're talking about the Jets. Like when the Jets, I don't know how long you've been watching the show, Jets Jesus. Like if you were watching a year ago, I was as positive as anyone. I really believed they were going to be a good team a year ago, but like I can't fake it. I got to just be honest and give opinions in real time. And I hope if they're negative at the time, I hope they age poorly so the Jets are good because I'm a fan at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know how long I've been watching the show. It's like since you were splitting between doing the Texans and doing the Jets and when you were living in Houston, like it was early days. I don't remember I don't know exactly how early of the days, but it was pretty early days.
Yeah, that's right before I went full time with it. I was still doing, I used to work for ESPN Houston. I did a 4-hour talk show Monday through Friday, and this was my part-time job. And then when that ended, this became full. I'm joking. Yeah. This became full-time, and then ESPN New York and Sirius Radio. That is my part-time hustle.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember that transition, and I was watching. I've been watching / listening since a while before that. So I've been here for quite a bit of time. But yeah, this was I've appreciated it in a variety of ways. Right? Like you'll have Rich Cimini on the show. You'll be able to have a serious conversation with him without being like too overly, let's call it fan-ish or whatever, and being like, oh man, like this guy always has negative takes. He can't say anything positive about the team. Screw this guy. But then be able to turn around and go, look what Dick Chimney just said. And I think that's like such a great balance.
Well, thank you. I mean, I hope I don't ever go, here's what Dick Chimney just said, but I see what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, look,
right. Yeah,
people,
exactly.
Like the thing that always annoys me is like people in the media are always critical of the athletes and coaches they're covering. So like we can't have thin skin as media people or content creators. If people disagree with us or like want to call in and give us a hard time, like check my mentions on Twitter when I have a Jets opinion. Like it's like a bloodbath at times of the comments on this. Like, but like what I want the audience to always know is like it's my opinion. You know what I mean? Like it's not being influenced by anything. Like I'm a Jet fan that has opinions on the Jets, and you could agree or disagree, but you don't have to worry about me flip-flopping like Colin Cowherd does every other day, says something one day and then the complete opposite the next and is on tape doing it and just moves on like nothing happened. Like I'll never do that. Like my opinions are all recorded. You could all see them every day.
Right. And I mean, we'll kind of go into Gary land a little bit with this statement, but I mean, like that's the state of media right now, right? Where so many of us are turned off by legacy media because it's not genuine, and then are seeking alternative media like this. I mean, like this is that to sports, right? Like this is, you know, you can turn on like TV ESPN and hear a bunch of things that are packaged in the same, and they're all approved and signed off on and probably edited before they even, you know, are able to speak on air. Or you can go to somebody like you and be able to get genuine input. And with the luxury with you is that you have, you know, you get firsthand information from people so that you're able to speak on that. It isn't just, you know, straight up fan speculation.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jet Cheese. I appreciate the kind words, man. It means a lot.
Cool. Yeah, you're welcome. So and then you kind of segued really well, but then moved away from it for a moment. But, you know, this kind of throws back to what Han was saying about, about Aaron Glenn, and I liked your take on it because I did think it was a crap take, and it's also like, hey man, you're in New York, and I'm pretty sure if he's not from New York, he's been there for a long time. Like, what are you crying about? How some coach is like treating you or talking to you? Like, who are you, dude? Where are you from? Like, this is any of us should be, you know, like I keep my same New York mentality no matter how many different places I've lived in. And it's like, these things shouldn't be getting under your skin. Do your job. You know what you're there to do. If the coach is going to give you something, run with it. If you don't like how he's talking to you, that's fine. Work with it. I mean, New York media can be some of the biggest. That I always try to keep my language in check on the show. So they always try to be the biggest jerks, you know, about whatever. It's like, fine. If you feel like the coach, you don't like how the coach is doing it, write an article accordingly. Right. Or, you know, whatever it is, but like, don't cry about it. Like it just sounded so soft and not New York, where I was like, come on, bud. Like what's going on here?
Jet
so Jesus. I like that you ripped them up on the show, but on those takes, I didn't get a chance to say it.
I appreciate it. I love the passion, man. Great call.
Thanks, buddy.
Jets Jesus, check it in. All right, rapid fire here because I am up against it because I got to get the Yankee Stadium. Daz, let it rip. What do you got?
You're out there. Get me.
Yes, sir, Daz. Love the Ravens jersey. And that's all the Daz time we have. Thunderlips, close this out before the raffle. What's up, Thunderlips?
I had to call in. I love your face. I missed the last two shows. Hey, you either have like a mustache or a 5 o'clock shadow or a full beard. It's like,
you know what it is? I get bored. I sit in this chair for usually 4 hours a day staring at myself because the camera, like I see and it's like, I get bored. I want to switch it up. Why not?
You should just shave your chest. You know what I mean? Fuck it, you know? Hey, so I have no idea what you were talking about before. I've been in full dad mode all day in the pool.
You're in a robe?
But I am. Well, it's like a, you know, I bought it as a joke because I got the pool and I have this robe and my son's like, you need ducks, like Tony Soprano.
Okay,
so
Tony.
like, so I have like the cigar and shit like that. So now it's like I bought it off of Amazon. It's comfortable, so it's like my my pool robe. You know what I mean? But yeah,
hell yeah.
But I'm definitely wearing underwear. All right, but so you know, watching the Pacers, you know, bring it to Game 7, right? It's like making me think, you know, if the Pacers win a chip, it's like we lost to the championship team, right? So it's like, who are we gonna get as a coach? Like, if that's what you want, right? Like if you were a Yankee fan or whatever, and you got knocked out in the, you know, in the round before the finals and they won the championship, it's like, well, we lost to the team that won the championship, right? So if the Pacers win the championship, it's like they would have beaten any other team. So it's like, what else could we have done. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like
It adds to the overreaction that I said
Right.
at the time, and it has now aged better if Indiana does pull it off. I mean, just them being in Game 7 when they had odds of getting swept or losing in 5.
exactly.
Like-
That's what I told my son. They were
Right.
supposed the betting odds were they were going to get swept, and now it's going to Game 7. And the best coach out on the market is Tibbs. So it's like, so who's the betting favorite for us to get a coach? I mean, or which coach, I should say, do you think is the favorite for the Knicks to get?
I mean, it sounds like Taylor Jenkins and Mike Woodson, but that's only because those are
Mike-
the only.
Mike Woodson?
Sorry,
Again?
not Mike Brown,
Oh.
not Mike Woodson. Mike Brown,
Okay.
who was with the Kings most recently. But I mean, do we really need to make Mike Brown an NBA head coach for the 5th time? Like, I don't know. I'm intrigued by Jenkins because I thought he did a pretty good job in Memphis, and I think it was more just Ja losing his mind why that ended the way it did than anything else.
Right.
But I mean, I don't love the options. I mean, if they hire someone we've never heard of, like, it could work, but it's a huge risk with that. Like, time will tell. You, no matter who they hire, though, we can't judge it till we see what it looks like. But talk about pressure. The coach that coaches the Knicks, if you don't get to the NBA Finals, you're disappointed. Like, that's the expectation now when you move on from Thibodeau.
Well, they progressed every year, right? I mean, it's like, so that, just like you said, that's an enormous amount of pressure. It sucks. But I'm going to end this call by saying I've been mean to my wife lately, and I love her very much. She's cute. I love your face. Don't give me the RBF. I love you so much. You're the mother of my children. And I can't wait till you meet Bobby. No, just kidding. That's a joke.
Well,
Hold on.
is your wife watching right now?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I'm in the gazebo with her, and she just fucking karate chopped my face, so she wouldn't be on camera. So I'm not gonna do that to her. So here's my wife right here.
I love it. Thunderlips.
Wrong bitch. Just kidding. All right. I'm dead. All right. I gotta go. Later, brother.
Thunderlips, you're the man. What a man.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
I was gonna play that, but I don't know that's happening now after how that call ended. Great call. Wrong bitch. That's funny. Hennessy says he's in the doghouse. Yeah, I mean, he's actually in the doghouse. Unreal. Well done, Thunderlips. That was awesome. All right, I'm getting the names together right here. It is almost raffle time, people. CJ Mosley jersey. That is what's on the line here. If you don't win, another reminder, you're in the weekly raffle, which is going to be on Monday. I don't know what time a Saturday or Sunday show is going to be. I'm going to try and do one. I got to wait to hear back from ESPN if I'm needed at Fanatics Fest tomorrow. So that's why I don't have an exact start time for a weekend show, but count on at least one of them. So stay tuned for that. But here's what I need to do right now. I need to stall to get the names ready to rumble. So I'm going to play a short clip. After the clip plays, we raffle away a CJ Mosley signed jersey.
Having some barbecue chips. Hello, Thunderlips.
What's up, Charles? Oh yeah, take us around. Let me see.
This is my table. This is my fridge. This is my my bed stuff, but I had to get a new mattress. This is the couch I've been sleeping on. This is my television, my cable, my Xbox, my rich one. That was toilet paper. I saw that.
I don't know what you're talking about. A little bit of corn. But hey, congratulations on the house. I'm gonna wash my hands and I'll call back. I'll be back.
All right, no problem.
Incredible every time I watch that. Ladies and gentlemen, who's ready? Raffle time.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Here we go. The music's playing. The wheel is ready to be spun. And one lucky Asmaniac is about to win a signed CJ Mosley jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck to everyone. Thank you again for your support. In June, it's hard to do Jet content, but you guys all make it possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, let's spin the wheel. The winner of a signed and authenticated CJ Mosley jersey is listener Brian Oglick. Coach Oglick, Hell yeah, that is a well-deserved raffle win. Brian is an awesome, awesome Jet fan. He called the show earlier today. That's how he got entered in the raffle. And he goes to so many road games. He's going to multiple road games this year. He lives in San Jose. He flies across the country to see this crummy football team we care so much about. Well-deserved, Brian. Congratulations, Coach. I will get that sent out to you. Do me a favor, Coach. Shoot me an email with your address, AsmanJake@gmail. You can reach me. Or if you're on, I don't know if you're a Patreon member, you might be Discord. You can message me there if you prefer that. But reach out, get me an address, and I will get it sent out for you this upcoming week. Thank you to Coach. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. I'm off to the Bronx. Let's go Yanks tonight. Win 2 in a row. Max Fried on the bump. I'll talk to you guys then. Or I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, I should say, or maybe Sunday. Check the Discord for updates. Go Yanks. Go Jets. And God bless America.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.